So, have you ever actually wondered where you go when you close your eyes at night? I mean, really think about it. The architecture of the dreaming mind is absolutely one of the most profound mysteries we experience every single day. We spend about a third of our lives asleep, yet for most of us, what happens inside our brains during that time remains entirely hidden in the dark. It's this uncharted territory that we all visit, yet we barely understand. Every night, your brain creates vivid worlds while your body sleeps. But why does it happen? The answer is more fascinating than you think. For centuries, this nocturnal journey was viewed simply as magic, a mystical realm of prophecies and spirits. But it's incredibly compelling to consider that at the exact moment we think we're shutting down to rest, our minds are actually booting up a completely different reality. Today, modern science is finally peering behind the curtain to reveal what's really going on. Okay, let's dive into this. Part 1. The dreaming brain. Entering the subconscious. Right off the bat, to truly understand what's happening when we dream, we first need to look at the biological mechanics of the sleep cycle itself. Because sleep isn't just a single, static state where you're just off. It's a dynamic process divided into multiple, highly structured stages. As we sleep, our bodies are continuously cycling through these distinct phases of rest in roughly 90-minute loops. We dip down from light sleep into a deep, physically restorative, slow-wave sleep. That's where our breathing slows way down and our cells literally repair themselves. Then we bounce right back up again, repeating this descent and ascent over and over throughout the whole night. Which brings us to part 2, inside REM sleep, the rapid eye movement phase. Now, while we do experience fragments of thoughts in other sleep stages, this rapid eye movement phase, this is where the magic really happens. This is the absolutely crucial window where our most vivid, cinematic, and immersive dreams take place. And there's an incredible paradox that happens during REM sleep. On one hand, your brain becomes highly active. Its neural networks fire so intensely that it looks almost identical to a waking brain, literally creating entire glowing worlds from scratch. In fact, your brain often consumes more oxygen and energy during REM sleep than when you're wide awake trying to solve a complex problem. But on the other hand, your physical body is temporarily paralyzed and completely at rest. It's wild. Your mind is out there running marathons and exploring galaxies, while your physical form is perfectly still. So, understanding why this intense contrast exists is crucial. See, this temporary paralysis prevents us from acting out our dreams. It isn't a glitch in the system. It's actually a brilliant protective mechanism designed by your own body for your absolute safety. Think about it. If you dream about running from a bear or flying off a cliff, your brain chemically locks your muscles in place so you don't literally jump out of bed. Without this chemical immobility, we would just be physically thrashing around, blindly responding to imaginary threats and risking serious injury every single time we closed our eyes. Moving on to part 3, why do we dream? Exploring the theories. So, while neuroscience has successfully mapped out the brain states and those physical 90-minute cycles of sleep we just talked about, the ultimate psychological purpose, the actual why, remains a massive puzzle. Science has put forward some incredibly fascinating theories in this explainer to try and figure out what our brains are actually trying to accomplish. And the first major theory is that dreaming is all about processing emotions. The idea here is that dreams act as a safe space to navigate and process complex feelings from our waking lives. Think of the dreaming brain as an architect, intentionally building a secure, isolated environment for you to work through your emotional baggage. Fascinatingly, during REM sleep, the brain completely dampens stress chemicals like noradrenaline. This allows us to process traumatic, stressful, or intense events in a biologically safe, calm environment, stripping away all that raw, visceral emotion so we can wake up with a clear head. A second major theory suggests dreams are absolutely vital for strengthening memories. And this brilliantly illustrates the idea of your brain functioning as a kind of nocturnal librarian, organizing and solidifying crucial waking memories. While you're deep in sleep, this biological librarian is meticulously sorting through your daily experiences. It selects which vital information and skills to keep on the bookshelf and which irrelevant, mundane details to just discard. This is exactly why students who get a full night's sleep after studying for a test, or athletes who sleep right after learning a new physical skill, perform drastically better the next day. The nocturnal librarian has literally cemented those newly formed neural pathways while they dreamed. It's pretty amazing. Then we have the fascinating concept of sparking creativity. The surreal nature of dreams connects disparate ideas to inspire new, creative solutions. Because dreams are inherently abstract and, bizarre, they allow the brain to completely bypass the rigid, linear logic we're forced to rely on while we're awake.
It's exactly this lack of boundaries that allows the mind to link completely unrelated concepts, sparking profound creativity and out-of-the-box problem solving. In fact, some of history's greatest breakthroughs happened precisely this way. Dmitri Mendeleev famously visualized the structure of the periodic table of elements in a dream. And Paul McCartney, he woke up with the entire melody for the Beatles' hit song Yesterday playing in his head, born completely from his dreaming mind. Absolutely incredible, right?
Let's look at one more really compelling theory: preparing for challenges. Have you ever had that classic dream where you're suddenly falling or being relentlessly chased by some unseen monster? Well, evolutionary psychologists suggest these aren't just random nightmares. Instead, dreams serve as a biological virtual reality to simulate and prepare us for future obstacles. From a survival standpoint, this implies that our minds are actively running high-stakes threat simulations while we're safely asleep. By practicing our fight or flight responses to danger in a dream, we keep our reflexes, our instincts, and our survival mechanisms incredibly sharp for the real world.
And that leads us to part 4, an unsolved mystery, the limits of neuroscience.
Even with all these brilliant theories, whether it's managing our intense emotions, organizing a massive library of memories, boosting our creative output, or running intense survival simulations, we really have to admit something kind of humbling. So, have we truly cracked the code of the dreaming mind? Despite all our advanced fMRI brain scans, our biological tracking, and our incredible modern technology, the honest answer is no. The exact definitive purpose of dreams remains entirely unknown. The subconscious is truly one of the final great frontiers of human biology. It's this vast unknown that completely resists being perfectly categorized by science. The next time you fall asleep, remember, your brain isn't shutting down. It's creating, learning, and exploring a mysterious world that science is still trying to understand. The mind is an endless frontier, and every single night you get to explore it. So tonight, when you close your eyes, ask yourself, where will your brain take you next?